It's almost been 42 years since this incident occurred. It changed NHL hockey history. Basically, what happened, this player scored a goal in almost a big error, or like I say, empty net error by Denis Herron in Game 7 against Montreal for the Minnesota North Stars, which gave them a 1-1 tie in the 7th decided game of their quarterfinal match. Montreal eventually lost the game, lost a chance at 5 straight cups, although Guy Lafleur and other players were not there for that series. But Tom Youngans, or Younghans, however you want to pronounce it. Either way you pronounce it, one of the best defensive forwards that the Stars had in the 1970s and early 80s. He was born for moments like that because not only was he a national NCAA champion, he played in 4 major events for the U.S. at the Worlds and Canada Cup, and again, an outstanding two-way player. Now, when I say the pride of St. Paul, Minnesota, I'm not joking. St. Paul has created so many great athletes over the years. It's basically, when you say St. Paul, you have to say great. Now, Thomas Anthony Youngans, or Younghans, was born January 22nd, 1953. Now, he played a grand total of 429 games in the NHL for the Stars and the Rangers between 76 and 82. He was a member of the University of Minnesota hockey team before turning pro, undrafted, of course, because by the time he went to the elite level, he was in his early 20s. Now, he won a national title with them in 1976. And internationally, Youngans played for the United States in the 76, 77, and 78 Worlds, as well as the 81 Canada Cup tournament. Now, because the 1980 Team USA Olympic team were mostly university and non-NHLers, he obviously didn't have an option to play there. Now, he played his first college years, not with St. Mary's University of the Maritimes, but with St. Mary's University of the NCAA Division 3. His best season with them was 73 with 37 points in 20 games. Now, he shifted to University of Minnesota Big Ten in 1975, or as part of the 74-75 senior season, 13 goals in 22 games, including 28 points. Now, 76, his championship year, he had 43 points in 44 regular season games, including 19 goals. Now, when he first became one of Minnesota's starter defensive forwards, his rookie campaign, he had 14 points in 78 games, including 8 goals. 78, he had 18 points in 72 games with an even 100 minutes in penalties, wasn't scared to take a penalty, ladies and gentlemen. And 79, his defensive numbers continued with 18 points in 76 games, including 8 goals. Now, 1980, he had 10 goals in a regular season with 92 minutes in penalties. But that big goal that tied the game after Napier had scored in the first period, basically on a Denis Herron mistake. If you can find a YouTube of the game, you know what I'm talking about. One of the biggest home mistakes in NHL goalie history, because all the momentum that Montreal had built up from that early Napier goal dissipated. You could feel the air go out of the form. Now, in 15 playoff games that year, he bet Toronto first round, bet Montreal second round, and played the Flyers third round. 2 goals and assists for 3 points, 17 minutes in penalties. Now, 81 was a bad statistical year for him. He only had 4 goals in 74 games. 82, his last full pro season, he split time between Minnesota and the Rangers of the NHL and Springfield of the AHL and Memphis South Stars of the CHL. He ended up with 8 points in 47 games with the Rangers, 1 goal in 3 games for Minnesota, with 2 playoff games for the Rangers in that 82 campaign. But his rough statistics for Team USA at the World showed some great numbers. He had 34 games, 4 goals, 7 assists for 12 points. Now, the 76 NCAA championship squad was probably one of the better elite university teams in NCAA history. A very balanced team, very, very dedicated. The only problem was, if I'm not mistaken, the key players on that included a whole bunch of great prospects. Of course, we're talking about Steve Janicek was there. Joe Micheletti was there for a while. The captain of the team was Pat Phippen. And the famous Jim Boo was on the team. Phil Vercoda as well was there. Tom Gorance, Bobby Fish, Bill Baker, Mark Conway, Bruce Lind, Tim Rainey, Reed Larson, of course. So that team won more than 5 straight games, and it never won more than 5 straight games at any time, but never lost more than 2 consecutive games. The postseason included one of the most exciting games in Gopher history, as he downed the Michigan State 7-6 in triple overtime. So quite a go, as we like to say. Now, Tom Vanelli was named the NCAA Championships Most Valuable Performer after having a hand in 5 to Golden Goal for 6 goals against Michigan Tech. Now, in the WCHA playoffs, again, when Minnesota downed Michigan State 7-6 in triple overtime, Jeff Descharnes set a Minnesota record that still stands by stopping 72 shots in the win. So one of the best hockey teams in Minnesota history, and again, a good mixture of young prospects, veterans as well. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you're never going to see a more dedicated team to offense and defense at the same time than the Gophers of 1976 and Tom Youngins. And you know something? They asked Tom about the goal. I think it was ESPN, not ESPN, but must have been a regional sports group. And he said, you know, the puck was there and I put it in, and that's what I saw it happen. Did he? Or sometimes he made the big save, but when he was shell shocked from all these years in Pittsburgh, he made a huge mistake that not saying it cost Montreal the cup, but again, a deflating goal can kill a team anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our Minnesota North Stars Vintage Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe. And if you're snowed in again today, thank you for stopping by to listen. By the way, just a note, we do all our podcasts here live, and I got criticism from one of the non-listeners or occasional listeners on the group that I occasionally cough during my podcast. Well, I hate to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, not everybody has perfect respiratory systems. As a person who suffered from meningitis 55 years ago, my lungs sometimes are not 100% accurate. If you're bothered by me coughing and you make that part of the story me doing the podcast, I don't want you listening to my podcast. I listen to a podcast, ticks and all, and I hope you know that when I cough, that's nothing intentional. But the thing is, I do it live. All these podcasts are live. And if that anybody that doesn't like the fact that I cough and that really bothers you, you need to take off. I don't judge you as listeners for dropping in. I don't say, well, they must be feeling sorry for me or they have nothing better to do. I don't think that. You see a name on a podcast list, you want to drop in. I've been a journalist for 40 years, been a sports editor for 30. I know a little bit about hockey. I don't maybe know as much as you, the listener, but I'm here to celebrate the athletes, not to draw attention to the fact I sometimes cough. So if you're here to listen to what I have to say, thank you. If you're here to criticize me, fuck off. No intense, but intense. Have a good day. Bye.